roll?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Council Member Harris Dawson, Council Member Gilbert Cedillo.
Are we live? I assume we're live at this point. We need to do something to go live.
I assume we're live, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr.
Okay.
Chair. We're
Great.
live.
I'm sorry. Great. Sorry to interrupt. Just wanted to make sure. Go ahead.
Council Member Cedillo. Council Member Bob Blumenfield.
Present.
Council Member Mark Ridley Thomas.
Here.
Council Member John Lee.
Present.
We have 3 members and a quorum, Mr. Chair.
Great. Thank you. And as I explained for folks who are just joining us, our chair will be joining us. He's running a little bit late, and he asked me to get our meeting started. As we do have a quorum, we're going to get us started. If you could read the instructions for public comment, Mr. Mejia.
Yes. I will do so. Members of the public who would like to offer public comment on the items listed on the agenda should call 1-669-254-5252 and use meeting ID number 161-644-6631 and then press number sign. Press number sign again when prompted for participant ID. Once admitted into the meeting, press *9 to request to speak. During public comment, city staff will call on members of the public by the last 4 digits of their phone number. By pressing *9, callers raise their virtual hand to request to speak. Once the caller hears the last 4 digits of their phone number, an automated Zoom voice will ask the caller to press *6 to unmute themselves when it is their turn to speak. Once the caller is ready to speak, they must state their name and the item or items they are calling to speak on. Failure to do so will result in the call being muted and subsequently disconnected. Appellants and/or their representatives and applicants and/or their representatives will be allowed to speak for a total of 3 minutes per side unless otherwise noted by the chairman of this committee. Members of the public wishing to speak on one agenda item only shall have an opportunity to speak for 1 minute. Members of the public wishing to speak on more than one item shall state that and shall be allowed to speak for a total of 2 minutes. Failure to raise your hand to speak in a timely manner before the comment period for the item ends results in forfeiture of the opportunity to participate in public comment for the item. The city attorney will now provide additional guidance, Mr. Chairman.
Carrie Kaufman, the City Attorney's Office. When speaking on agenda items, you must be on topic. Our goal is to get through all speakers. If you're not speaking on topic, or if we cannot tell whether you're speaking on an agenda item, I will provide one brief warning. If you do not immediately and clearly return to the topic, or if you continue to stray off topic and disrupt the meeting, you will forfeit the rest of your time and we will move on to the next speaker. And you will be informed when your time is up.
Thank you. And before we get started, as the chair traditionally does in this committee, to ask members if anyone has amendments that they wish to raise prior to public comment, so that folks have the opportunity to comment on them, please speak now or raise your virtual hand.
Mr. Chairman, let me amend the roll call and add myself to those who have joined this meeting.
Absolutely. Let the record reflect. Mr. Cedillo has joined us.
Sure. Mr. Cedillo has joined us and it's duly noted.
Okay. And seeing no amendments that any members wish to put forward, we can move forward with public comment.
Caller with the number. Caller with the number ending in 2531.
I wanted to speak on item. Hello?
Hi, caller. Can you please state your name and the item you're speaking on?
Yeah, my name is Gus Torres, and I wanted to speak on items 12 and 14.
You have 2 minutes.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Gus Torres, and I'm representative of UA Local 255 Fitters, Welders, and Apprentices. We support this project proudly. The applicant on this project has committed to local hire, to paying fair wages for the workers who will build this project, including guaranteeing a safe working environment for workers and to using responsible contractors. As you know, this is not just a talking point. This is all of us skilled and trained workforce members advocating for shared prosperity and the pursuit of a better future for our families and our communities and all of Southern California. Please help support middle-class jobs and benefits by approving this project. This for item number 12. For item 14, my name is Gus Torres also, and I'm on behalf of UA Local 255 fitters, welders, and apprentices. We support this project's approval. The applicant will, if their project is approved, hire locally and will hire responsible contractors, and the workers will make living wages. You may be used to hearing these such endorsements from labor, but I urge you to remember that each job with guarantees like this will provide for real people with families and loved ones. Developments like this one is in the best interest for all hardworking citizens of Los Angeles. Please approve this project. Thank you for your time, and God bless.
Thank you, caller.
Excuse me, Terry Kaufman, the City Attorney's Office. I just wanted to clarify that this is public comment. Is it also multiple agenda items and general public comment? Or are you just taking public comment first?
I believe we're taking multiple comment and general public comment at this time.
So multiple regular public comment and then also anyone that wants to make a general public comment.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, caller. Can you please state your name and the item you're speaking on?
My name is George Bocanegra, and I'll speak on item number 13.
You have 1 minute.
Members, my name is George Bocanegra. I'm with the Southwest Regional Council of Carpenters. I'm a resident of Los Angeles, and I live, work, and recreate in the vicinity of the project. I believe that you will be impacted by the environmental impact of the project. The city, county should require the project to be built utilizing a local and skilled and trained workforce. Local hire and skilled and trained workforce requirements reduce construction-related environmental impacts while benefiting the local economy. In a recent 2020 report titled, Putting California on the High Road, a Jobs and Climate Action Plan for 2030, the California Workforce Development Board concluded that investments in growing, diversifying, and upskilling California workforce can positively affect returns on climate mitigation efforts. Moreover, just this year, the South Coast Air Quality Management District
Caller,
found
that's your
that.
time. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Speaking on item 12, my name is Desiree, and I support this project. The location of this project is underused, and we need now more than ever to use land to its maximum capacity for residential purposes, especially. The project will also provide hotel rooms for bringing visitors back to LA and back to downtown, improving our economy and supporting our local businesses when they need it. Let's support good investment in our city by approving this project. And I also want to speak on item 14. Let me tell you why I support the project. This project's pledge to incorporate local labor and to include mandatory affordable housing is very important during this challenging time. This is what responsible development looks like. Secondly, the building fits with the neighborhood and keeps some of the old while adding something new and innovative for the community. I think also that the developer's desire to offer short-term residences alongside long-term apartment units is a good choice for the neighborhood. Please approve this project. It would considerably improve the neighborhood. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, caller.
Thank you. Before we go to the next caller, I see the city attorney's hand is up, and I'm assuming because you stated earlier we should be taking multiple comments and general, not single item, but we've taken some single item comments. So I'd say we just continue on at the moment. We'll take single item or multiple or general, and we'll handle all the public comment up front since we've already started down that pathway. And apologize for the confusion as the acting chair here for the moment.
That's correct. You just get 1 minute if it's a single item, 2 minutes if it's multiple, and general public comment, you get a minute. So it's just a timing issue.
Right, but just to be clear to all who are calling, you do not need to wait for your items since we've already started down that road where people are calling on single items. You can call in on a single item and get 1 minute, or several items get 2 minutes, and you've got a minute of general public comment. Let's continue with the callers. Thank you for the clarification.
Good afternoon. This is Pastor Zach with Creed LA, and I am speaking on items number 12 and 14. First, I'd like to speak on item number 12, and I'd like to take a moment to just express how important it is to move on projects like this, like the Olympic Towers, that are contributing $11 million in affordable housing to do so. Just take a minute for everybody that's organizing against this and trying to make their complaint, whether it's Unite or whoever it may be. When was the last time you gave $11 million in affordable housing? Why don't you stop trying to vilify these developers that are doing something big and instead be grateful that this city is still moving forward in equitable development, and it doesn't all have to be affordable housing as long as it contributes to affordable housing. Take a moment and think about that. Consider your enemies and your friends. Don't make enemies out of everyone. Secondly, on item number 14 on Chateau, regarding the CPC hearing where they tried to deny the applicant for having tourist designation. First of all, the data supports the need for innovative housing models. And also there's a flexible duration housing opportunity that's a part of the business model itself. And there's no language that suggests the term of stay is limited to 30 days. And it's also illegal to assume that Commissioner Mack and a minority of participants in the hearing from the 22nd actually constitute a illicit basis to deny the tour's request. By the CPC's own bylaws from a January 11, 2018 Plum Declaration, this is what it says. In line with the direction in the original City Council motion to preserve rental housing stock, the proposed ordinance would disallow the conversion of existing residential buildings to a tourist while preserving the opportunity for a new building to request a tourist designation. The language itself from CPC and from the Plum Commission says that if there's new development, as long as they're playing by the rules, you can't restrict the tourist application. So you have to be careful that these post hoc claims in revision of what was said in the actual commission meeting doesn't get mistaken for what is actually being said in the laws.
Thank you, caller. You've exhausted your 2 minutes.
Thank you.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hi, caller. We can hear you. Can you please state your name and the items you're speaking on today?
Yes, thank you. My name is Sean Silva. I'm speaking with Creed LA, and I'm speaking on items 12 and 14.
Great. You have 2 minutes.
Right, thank you. As for item 12, this is a project that has the rare chance to define the skyline and redefine downtown social scenes, contributing to a more vibrant and walkable city. Here at the corner of two great streets of our city, Olympic and Figueroa, we have the opportunity to change Los Angeles because the project would be absolutely transformative, make no mistake. We appreciate the applicant's vision to propose such a transformative project near the convention center and recognize that the project will boost economic activity, especially with the applicant's guarantee that they will commit themselves so resolutely to supporting the local economy and making the most environmentally sound choices during construction. Additionally, it is not lost on us that the developer has committed to providing $11 million directly to the HSID Affordable Housing Trust Fund for the construction of and operation of future affordable housing developments. We appreciate the applicant's excellent community outreach efforts and their vision for taking an underused site and proposing this high-quality, mixed-use development. So for these reasons, we strongly urge you to approve the project. For item 14, we're completely in support of this project as well. The proposed project is thoughtful and innovative, and as we have noted before, it's the sort of mixed-use project we want to see in Koreatown, which is Creed's backyard. We believe that the entire neighborhood will benefit from this extension of the vibrancy of K-Town onto Chateau, activating the street corner but preserving the original church structure on the property. This would create a unique and striking project that blends the past and the future. Aside from the 42 units being designated specifically for very and extremely low-income tenants, this project could offer much to the neighborhood in our view by allowing the dynamic flexibility of residences for short-term stays as well as for long-term rentals. We support this project with that component with intentionality. Please grant this project full approval as well. Thank you.
Thank you, caller.
Yeah, hello. Good afternoon. Let me pull up my notes. Yeah, good afternoon, council members. My name is Danilo Melendez, and as a resident of Los Angeles, like always, I am always in full support of this project, plain and simple. This project is a sound investment in our community. It addresses the city's need for housing and hotel rooms near the convention center, while also including appropriate funds for the affordable housing to address our city's urgent need for housing. Make no mistake, this developer is paying their due, probably past their due, and establishing themselves as a positive presence in the community, which is what every Angelino needs, frankly. And also, the way it embraces pedestrian activity on Olympic and Fig, it's like adding a new landmark to the area. So for all its benefits, I strongly support the project and hope you will approve it today. Thank you. And by the way, this is item 12, and I will be moving on to item 14. And again, my name is Danilo Melendez, and I am a stakeholder who lives nearby. I like this project. I believe mostly everyone can see how it would benefit Koreatown. The integration of old and new with this project, you know, traditional with the new flow, it speaks perfectly to Los Angeles character. I mean, Los Angeles is a traditional city with the new flow. Things are just changing now. And it's going to add a lot to the surrounding area, especially housing units. So I support the developer's approach to creating housing opportunities for short-term stays. It's an innovative offering for a traveler who wants to stay for a short or a long term with flexibility, you know, adding a lot to the economy. It fits perfectly with this young and hip neighborhood. Please, please approve this project. Thank you very much.
Jordan Sisson for item 12, Olympic Tower project.
You have 1 minute.
Good afternoon, honorable council members. I'm counsel to Local 11 in its appeal of the project. I'm pleased to announce that the parties have reached a settlement. Local 11 no longer opposes the project and has withdrawn its appeals. Pursuant to an agreement, the developer has agreed to take additional measures to address Local 11's concerns here, such as numerous measures that significantly improve the project's transit demand management and lessen its reliance on parking. Additionally, it requires more sustainable management and products used at the project site, as well as more native landscaping. We believe that this was made possible by the collective efforts and advocacy of the public, city officials, and Local 11. I thank you for your time and seize the rest of my time.
Thank you, caller.
Hello,
Hi, caller. Can you please state your name and the item you're speaking on?
Daniel Wright of the Silverstein Law Firm on items 10 and 11, which may be being taken together, and item 7.
You have 2 minutes.
In 2013, this committee, with Councilmen Huizar and Englander as 2 of the plum votes, and then the City Council itself, approved the illegal Millennium Hollywood project. That was after attorney Robert Silverstein presented evidence suppressed by developer Millennium Partners of an active earthquake fault running through the proposed site. We then beat the city and developers' attorneys at trial, on appeal, and before the California Supreme Court. And that is why you are now about to overturn those 2013 approvals. We note that the Millennium Partners just halted so-called repairs of its leaning tower in San Francisco. That disaster is now sinking and tilting doubly fast into the developer and city's self-made quagmire. To date, San Francisco taxpayers have paid $30 million for those mistakes. How much is this city council ready to pay to defend the indefensible hubris of Mitch O'Farrell and Millennium Partners for a new version of their Hollywood disaster project, now renamed Hollywood Center? Now addressing item number 7 with regard to the proposal for telecommuting in the planning department. This is an issue that is dear to my heart because in the 1990s, I helped incorporate telecommunication policies into the city's and the county's transportation policy network. I think that telecommuting should be and continue to be an important tool for the city in the planning department, although I think that a number of policies need to be considered as to how planners can be made available to meet with members of the public under such a telecommuting scenario, and also address the issue of making documents available for public inspection. With those kinds of caveats,
Thank you, caller.
I think
You've exhausted
telecommuting
your 2 minutes.
will be helpful. Thank you.
Hello, this is Charlie Carno with Unite Here Local 11. Can you hear me?
Hi, caller. We can hear you. Can you please state which item you're speaking on?
I'm going to be speaking on item 14.
Thank you. You have 1 minute.
So I just want to say that we support what the City Planning Commission decided, which was to deny the tourist permit on this project. Los Angeles desperately needs housing, but not additional hotel rooms. Koreatown already has over 1,300 hotel rooms coming to the neighborhood. This would allow, even with the developer's supposed compromise, an additional 68 rooms to be rented short-term. Innovative housing models are welcome, but they need to be for long-term residents and the renters that are so suffering in today's housing market, not for tourists. So we really encourage you to uphold the City Planning Commission's determination, bring housing and not more short-term rental. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hi, caller. We can hear you. Can you please state your name and which item you're speaking on?
Good afternoon. This is Ann Williams, and speaking on item 12.
You have 1
And
minute.
I want to speak in strong. Thank you. I wanted to speak in strong support of Olympic Tower. You may recognize my name because I am the representative listed on the application, but for the record, I have changed jobs, so I am not here as a paid representative. I'm calling today because I filed the original application back in 2015, and I shepherded it through the entitlement process until last year. So I feel like it's kind of like my 6-year-old child. So every step of the way, I have been so proud to be one of the parents of this baby, truly. Not only is the architecture exciting and innovative, but the architect, Norberto Nardi, is probably the most thoughtful architect I've ever worked with. His attention to detail throughout this really complicated structure, and especially at the street level, was so clear that it was truly a pleasure to present it to the many stakeholder groups that we visited.
Thank you, caller.
D-Link and
You've
the BID
exhausted your
to the
time.
City Planning Commission. So please support.
Good afternoon. My name is Samuel Nieto, and I would like to speak on item 12 and 14.
You have 2 minutes, caller.
Thank you. As for item 14, as for item 12, I support this project. Downtown LA needs projects like this one. As you know, this project is not a small one, and I'm glad it's not. It is, in fact, a bold and dynamic project, which we don't see every day. And its impact would go a long way by making downtown a more central and vibrant place. 100% something we need. Downtown has been experiencing a renaissance, especially around the Convention Center and Staples Center. I'm glad to see the old car wash go if it means adding this much residential space and this much hotel and commercial space to our main downtown thoroughfares. Let's support a more vibrant downtown by approving this project. Thank you.
Thank you, caller.
As for item number 14,
You can
I support
continue.
this project. I support this project. I am out for development when it makes sense for everyone involved. This is one such instance. I appreciate that our preserving the church structure and the Spanish style because that's our history. And the rest of the project stands out too. 367 units with 42 reserved for affordable housing. In the long run, a project like this will be remembered for improving Koreatown's livability. Please approve this project. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm going to be speaking on items 12 and 14. Good afternoon, council members. My name is Ray. I'm with the Anchor Church of DTLA. You may be familiar with us from our relentless advocacy for the people of Los Angeles who need second chances. We commit to our ministry by supporting projects like this one, with the clear community benefits for our people and our congregation who live and work in Los Angeles. We do not take lightly that our members may work at the retail component of a project like this, or may be employed as members of the skilled trade and building this. Since the developer committed to local hire, we support funds for affordable housing and the applicant's commitment to support local workforce, training and development. We urge you to approve this project to give those in need a second chance and an opportunity to improve their lives. And also I want to speak on item 14. As a member and leader of the community, my work at Anchor Church focuses on people who have the least and uplifting them. For us, this means placing many of our friends in the community with the construction trades, which provides jobs and a future to them. Being an iron worker or a plumber can mean feeling like a person with a path again, maybe after years without one. We support this project because we understand how important it is to help uplift our fellow Angelenos. This project will do that because of the local hire component. We urge you to approve this project to give those in need of a second chance an opportunity and also an opportunity to improve their life. Thank you guys for your time, and God bless.
Thank you, caller.
Hello, my
Hi,
name is
caller.
Shamari Davis. I'm a business rep with IBW Local 11, representing almost 12,000 members, and I
Caller,
would like
can
to
you please
speak
state
in
which
favor.
item you're speaking on?
Number 12 and number 14.
You have 2 minutes.
Thank you. These projects are transformational projects. And I use the word transformation because that's what happens when it allows our members to go from apprentices to journeymen to foremen to be full-fledged tradesmen. I remember a young man who came to us. He was a former member who did not have any parents. He was a foster home guy. He came to us, took the test. We mentored him, got him into the program. Young man, transformed, became an apprentice, transformed an apprentice to a journeyman. When he became a journeyman, he told me, I really feel like a man. I saw a young man transform into someone that could support himself, that could support his family, and that could be transported into the middle class. And the middle class is what anchors this country. We have to make sure we continue to allow people to be able to transport it into the middle class. And this project, both of these projects allow for that. The local hire portion allow for the people that live around the area to be able to have that opportunity. We must continue to allow that opportunity to happen. And that's why IBW Local 11 is in support of this project, and that's why we urge you to push them through. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Hi, caller.
Hi,
Can
good
you please
afternoon.
state your name and the item you're speaking on?
Good afternoon. My name is Omar Galindo. I'm speaking on item number 12 and 14, please.
You have 2 minutes.
Thank you. Good afternoon, council members. As I said, my name is Omar Galindo. I am with UA Plumbers Local 78, and we support both these projects. Item number 12, we believe in projects like this one. Projects where a developer starts out with a transformative vision. We have seen our share of those, but rarely we get a project like that, where to the developer, the importance of supporting a local economy by hiring local and committing to living wages is so evident to us. Our city's local workforce will earn middle-class wages on this project and have a part in making downtown an even more vibrant and pedestrian-friendly place to visit and explore. We urge you to support good-paying jobs by approving this project. Item number 14. This project would offer lots to the neighborhood, including 367 units of housing in Los Angeles, and that's very important. But more importantly, this project would be built well by reliable contractors, and the applicant choosing to support the local workforce will strengthen the local economy, ensure the value of the work is circulated back into the community. Please approve this project. Thank you.
Thank you, caller.
Hello?
Hi, caller. Can you please state your name and the item you're speaking on?
Yes, my name is Brian Germain. I'm speaking on item 12 and 14.
You have 2 minutes.
Yes. I'm speaking here on behalf of the Sheet Metal Workers Local Union here in Los Angeles, 105. And on both projects, we are in support of both these projects. For the applicant at the Olympic Tower project, this applicant has committed to hiring local residents and paying area wage standards, allowing our local workforce to go to work with dignity and guarantee of a fair pay. We would be working on a project that changes the game in downtown. It's a very exciting project, and we would be working on it proudly thanks to the developer's commitments. We strongly urge for approval of this project. And also on item 14, we're also supporting that project as well. It's similar, and this project represents a lot for us workers. It is a good project with great benefits for the community, like affordable housing, for instance. But it also provides high-quality construction jobs to members of the community. I speak for not just myself, but all my brothers and sisters in my local. Please approve this project and help keep middle-class jobs here in LA. Thank you.
Thank you, caller.
Hello, my name is Doug Haynes. Good afternoon. I'm speaking on items 10, 11, and general public comment, please.
You have 2 minutes, caller.
Thank you. At this committee's September 21st meeting, Councilman Cedillo lauded increasing the cost of appeals in order to deter the community from filing them, calling such appeals dilatory and not on point. Stopping the Millennium Project, which is what agenda items 10 and 11 is about, started with an appeal that I wrote for concerned neighbors. That appeal was directly on point, as was the massive amount of evidence later submitted by attorney Robert Silverstein, exposing the lies behind this project. Yet those facts were ignored by the Planning Department, the City Planning Commission, this committee, and the City Council, requiring the courts to intervene to force the city to rescind its illegal approvals. The Millennium Project unfortunately represents everything that's wrong with this process, and why appeals are the public's only recourse when the representatives refuse to represent them. Unfortunately, this is all a sham process when it comes to the citizens' rights to have recourse when it comes to land use planning. And I ask that Councilman Cedillo, who I have great respect for, reconsider his thoughts on this and consider the community's concerns when their councilman refuses to acknowledge their fears about these issues. Thank you.
Thank you, caller.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Doug Summers. I represent 1,100 hardworking UA Local 709 fire sprinkler fitters. I'd like to speak on items 12 and 14.
You have 2 minutes, caller.
Thank you. Item 12, it's the applicant is supporting local, skilled, and trained workforce with fair pay and benefits to design to support a blue-collar, middle-class industry. And that's what I represent. And that's what every one of these labor leaders you're hearing from today in support of these projects represent. I'd say over 60% of our members live in the greater Los Angeles area. So these kind of projects are important, and it should be important to the local economy also. So I ask that you support item 12, please. Item 14, we are also in support of 14. This project would bring a lot of good to Koreatown, to Los Angeles as a whole, and to all the local skilled tradespeople who work every day on the buildings where we live and work. It must be said that without developers like this, who make the commitment to enhance their project with skilled labor, our organization would not be able to offer high-quality construction, meaningful training, and career opportunities. These benefits to our members reinforce the middle class. So I ask you to support both items 12 and 14. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, caller. Caller, can you please state your name and which item you're speaking on for the record, please?
Yes, this is Armin Ross with the Crenshaw Chamber of Commerce. I'm speaking on item number 13. I'm speaking in support of item 13, and I implore upon the committee to approve the environmental on this item. This project will bring much-needed housing to the Crenshaw community. It'll bring much-needed new housing stock with all of the latest amenities that new housing has to our area, which is lacking. They're going to bring in a new grocer. We've been losing grocers in the Crenshaw area. We've lost 2 in just the last year. They are also going to be providing opportunities for local Black-owned businesses to be a part of this development and to have their businesses in in both of the sites that this project encompasses. I also want to inform the first caller, Mr. George, that this project is committed to a local
You've
hire.
exhausted your time.
Thank you. Support the project.
Good afternoon, council members. My name is Albert Duarte, and I represent the Iron Workers, Local 416, and I'm calling to speak on item 12 and 14.
Thank you, caller. You have 2 minutes.
You're welcome. Thank you. We're here to speak in support of, I'm speaking on item 12 right now. We're here to support this, the Iron Workers, this project. The applicant has gone above and beyond. They've done this thing right. They started working with the community right off the bat. They've pledged to local hire. They pledged to fair labor. I mean, I can't tell you enough. Being an organizer for the Iron Workers, I see both sides, and there's a big difference as far as you guys probably get sick of hearing from all this labor and all that, but feeling that we're asking for too much. But who are we going to tell that when a contractor doesn't abide by affordable wages? They're getting screwed. the other side, and that's just the bottom line. They're getting paid $15 an hour, and the boss gives them a raise when he feels like it. That's not okay. We've got a system of progress with the ironworkers, system of development, and in the end, they have a middle class job. So we're in full support of this developer, and we're proud to back him in every way. And he's again, they've committed to the city, to the trades, and to the people of the community. So my hat goes off to him. Speaking on item number 14, and on Koreatown, and inch by inch, we're making progress. Again, I've spoken before, and I've shared with you guys. I was on a bridge when we were building the 105, and when the Rodney King riots were going off, and the city was at its low. And now I'm proud of LA.
Thank you, caller. You've exhausted your 2 minutes.
Thank you, but we're in full support of item.
Mr. Chair, that exhausts the allotted time for public comment.
Thank you so much, everybody, and special thanks to our Vice Chair, Mr. Blumenfield, who got us off to a good start this afternoon, along with our City Attorney and Clerk and CLA representatives. Thank the members for being here and everybody who called in. Mr. Mejia, we'll begin our agenda and business for today, looking at items number 1, 2, and 3, which there have been requests to continue. If you could give us the specific dates or conditions of those continuances.
Yeah.
Call the roll, we'll deal with those.
Yes, I will state the dates, Mr. Chairman and committee members. For item 1, which is an appeal relative to a vesting tract map for a mixed-use project, the date is to continue to a date to be determined. For item 2, this item contains 5 appeals. It is for a 15-unit project with 20% affordable. The request is to continue it to November the 2nd, Mr. Chair and committee members. Item 3, this is a cultural heritage report to include the Morris Knight residence as a historic cultural monument. The request therein is to continue it to December the 7th, 2021, Mr. Chair and committee members. I will call the roll. Councilman Marquise Harris Dawson as chair.
Yes.
Councilmember Gilbert Cedillo.
Yes.
Councilmember Bob Blumenfield.
Aye.
Councilmember Mark Ridley Thomas.
Aye.
Councilmember John Lee.
Aye.
That's 5 members and unanimous, Mr. Chair.
Excellent, Mr. Mejia. Next, we have items 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, items 4 through 8. The chair is recommending that we take those items on consent. If there are comments from members on these items, now would be the time to hear from them. I think there's a comment on number 5 from Mr. Blumenfield.
Yes, a comment and actually a question for staff, if there's staff that's able to address it. But I'll just start. I'm very happy about item 5. It's been a long time coming. I've been working on this for a while. Back in 2019, we're moving some regulations on these donation bins, which can be a great thing, getting donations to folks, but also have become a nuisance in various areas. And it's been very difficult sometimes to get them removed. Even when the property owner, we had situations with property owners didn't ask for the donation bin. The bin showed up on their property, and it takes a truck to move it, and it was very difficult to get it removed. So I'm curious about, and the other thing about, some of these have been dangerous. There's been a number of deaths from these. We had a very gruesome one a couple of years ago in the valley, someone getting trapped in there. So getting a little bit of regulation on these things, and still allowing them, but having a better system of accountability makes a lot of sense. But my one question for staff is there, most of what I read here deals with the property owner specifically. Is there anything that deals with the donation bin company, especially if they are going rogue, as some of them have? I know the public property issue is a separate issue where they just plop them down on public property, but even when they plop them down on private property against the will of the private property owner, is there any leverage that we have on those companies through this ordinance?
Thank you, Councilmember Bloomfield. I think we have Nick Marisic and Bonnie Kim here from our Cook Studies.
Yes, hi, Councilmember. We also have the project manager for this ordinance, Patrick Whalian, on the call as well as our counterparts at Building and Safety, who may be able to answer any questions you have about the enforcement portion of the ordinance. Patrick, do you want to maybe talk about some of the enforcement mechanisms that are included in the ordinance? Oh, I believe you're muted, Patrick.
Patrick Whalen, Department of City Planning. Yeah, so the ordinance does have requirements for both operators as well as the property owners where the bins are placed, including required sign-off of responsibility, an affidavit acknowledging responsibility on both parties, and as well as the required site plan that shows where the bin is proposed to go. That must be signed off on by both the operator and the lot owner. So we are trying to double up responsibility where we can there to ensure that there is a mechanism to correct bad actors.
And if the bad actor is the operator, not the property owner, then what happens in that situation?
If a property owner or if a property owner receives more than 2 violations, they lose the right to have a bin at the property. And there are also fees that would be associated with violations of the ordinance as well.
Okay, so the burden's still on, we're requiring the property of the, it sounds like it basically falls on the property owner, but the difference here is that we're requiring the operator to sign an agreement so that theoretically the property owner then has more leverage on the operator, because that's been part of the problem. Is that, because otherwise I don't really see anything on specifically on the operator other than, which is not a bad thing. I mean, the contract is a huge step forward, so I'm for this, moving this forward. But I didn't know if there was anything else besides the contractual relationship that we have that we're requiring in terms of being able to go after a bad operator.
Yeah, I believe the written acknowledgement and the affidavit of acknowledging responsibility on the operator is basically our main trigger there.
Okay. All right, great. Well, I didn't want to spend a lot of time on this, but I wanted to ask those questions, and I urge support of this item. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Blumenfield. Mr. Mejia, can you call the roll on items 4 through 8?
Yes. I will call the roll, Mr. Chair. For item 5, we need to state for the record that we're approving the city attorney prepare ordinance. And for item 8, to denote to adopt the motion and refer it to the Budget and Finance Committee. I will call the roll. Councilmember Harris Dawson as chair.
Yes.
Councilmember Gilbert Cedillo. Councilmember Gilbert Cedillo. Councilmember Bob Blumenfield.
Blumenfield, aye.
Councilmember Mark Ridley Thomas.
Aye.
Councilmember John Lee.
Aye.
That's 4 members, and it carries, Mr. Chair.
Well, I'll give Mr. Cedillo another opportunity to vote in the affirmative on this, or vote. Mr. Cedillo? We try.
Councilmember, you're muted.
Mr. Cedillo?
The answer is yes.
All right, there we go.
Okay, that's 5 members and a unanimous, Mr. Chairman and committee member.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Mejia. That takes us to item number 9.
Still yes.
Item 9, Mr. Chair and committee members, this is a Cultural Heritage Commission report relative to the inclusion of the Cliff May House, number 3, located in CD 11 as a historic cultural monument.
All right, we have a report from Department of City Planning on this item.
Good afternoon, Chairman Harris-Dawson and members of the committee. I'm Michaela Torresgill with City Planning's Office of Historic Resources. The recommendation from the Cultural Heritage Commission is to designate the Cliff May House number 3, located on North Old Oak Road in Brentwood, as an historic cultural monument. The subject property is a one-story single-family residence constructed in 1939 and designed in the traditional custom ranch house architectural style by architect Cliff May. The Cultural Heritage Commission found that the subject property embodies the distinctive characteristics of a style, type, period, or method of construction and represents a notable work of a master designer, builder, or architect whose individual genius influenced his or her age, as an excellent example of the traditional custom ranch house architectural style, and as a work by master architect Cliff May that embodies his ideas for the California ranch house for which he is widely renowned. This concludes my report. Lambert Giesinger from our office and I are available for any questions. Thank you.
All right. I'll now go to a representative of Council District 11 on this item. They wish to comment.
Sorry. Good afternoon, committee members. This is Jason with Council District 11. The council member supports CHC's recommendation to consider the Cliff May House number 3 for inclusion in the list of historic cultural monuments. And the council member would like to thank the Department of City Planning for identifying and nominating this historic resource in our district, as it's a wonderful example of a iconic SoCal ranch home. So thank you for your consideration.
All right. If there are no other comments from staff or members or questions, Mr. Mejia, I'll move that we approve the inclusion of the Cliff May House.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Cedillo. Can you call the roll?
Yes. Councilmember Harris-Dawson.
Yes.
Councilmember Gilbert Cedillo.
Yes.
Councilmember Bob Blumenfield.
Aye.
Councilmember Mark Ridley Thomas.
Aye.
Councilmember John Lee.
Aye.
That's 5 members and unanimous, Mr. Chair.
Excellent. Now, Mr. Mejia, we are taking together items number 10 and 11.
Yes, sir. Items 10 and 11, this is a report from the city attorney, a draft ordinance to repeal an existing ordinance which is inclusive of a zone change and boundaries ordinance, which was adopted in July 24th, 2013, a resolution to rescind, set aside, invalidate, and decertify the EIR for the Millennium Hollywood project and all land use entitlements, project approvals, and the vesting track map, Mr. Chairman.
Excellent. So do we have a report from the city attorney on this item?
This is really a cleanup. This case was appealed at way back, and during that time the writ was stayed. And then while it was lifted and still dealing with COVID, we did not have the ability to put it back on the agenda. The court never set a return date, so we're just taking actions that relate to the judge's ruling at the time the Millennium Project was before the council. So it's more of a cleanup than anything else.
Thank you so much to the city attorney, and I want to give an opportunity for Representative of Council District 13 to speak on this item, however briefly.
Good afternoon. My name is Craig Bullock with Councilmember Mitch O'Farrell's office, and we are city attorney's request to rescind these entitlements. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Questions or comments on this, members? Seeing none, Mr. Mejia, I'll move that we approve the city attorney ordinance to repeal the previous ordinance. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded. Mr. Mejia, can you read the
Can I just clarify? It's everything that was in the report and on the agenda. So it's the resolution to rescind and then deal with the environmental and all of that. So it's all the recommendations in our report and on the agenda.
Thank you so much. Duly noted. That'll be the motion. Mr. Mejia, if you could read the specific instructions into the record and call the roll.
Yes, I will read the instructions, Mr. Chair. Approve the city attorney ordinance to repeal ordinance number 182636, which is a zone change zone boundaries ordinance adopted by the council on July 24th, 2013 for the Millennium Hollywood project, and the resolution to rescind, set aside, invalidate, and decertify the EIR number 2011-0675 EIR, all findings associated with the certification, the statement of overriding considerations, and all other actions taken by the council relative to land use entitlements, project approvals, vesting map, track map, and thereby comply with the Superior Court's writ of mandate issue in the Stop the Millennium Hollywood.com et al. Versus City of LA, Superior case number BS 1446066 for the property located at 1720 through 70 North Vine Street, 1745 through 53 North Vine Street, 1746 through 70 North Ivor Avenue, 1733 through 1741 Argyle Avenue, and 6236, 6270, and 6334 West Yucca Street. Thank you for bearing with me. I will call the roll. Councilmember Marquise Harris Dawson.
Yes.
Councilmember Gilbert Cedillo.
Yes.
Councilmember Bob Blumenfield.
Aye.
Councilmember Mark Ridley Thomas.
Aye.
Councilmember John Lee.
Aye.
That's 5 members and unanimous, Mr. Chair.
And if I may, Mr. Chair, for the record, a revised city attorney report, draft ordinance, and resolution dated September 30th, 2021 are posted to council file numbers 13-0593 and 13-0593-S1 in the council file management system.
Thanks so much. That takes us to item number 12.
Item 12, this is an EIR, an addendum, the mitigation measures and the CEQA findings relative to transfer of floor area rights and two appeals that have been filed for the mixed-use project located in CD 14.
All right, we have a report from Department of City Planning on this item.
Good afternoon, council members. Sergio Ibarra with the Department of City Planning. At its meeting on October 10th, 2019, the City Planning Commission considered the Olympic Tower project, which consists of the construction of a 57-story high-rise consisting of retail, commercial, and 373 hotel rooms, and penthouse amenity for the proposed 374 residential condominiums, and voted to approve the main conditional use permit, conditional use, director's decisions, and site plan review, which represented a portion of the entitlement request for related case number CPC-2015-455-7-MCUP-CUX-TDR-SPR-DD. A determination letter with the City Planning Commission certification of the EIR and actions on the vesting tentative track map was mailed on October 21st, 2019, and subsequently appealed. On April 23rd, 2020, the City Planning Commission considered and recommended for approval the remaining TFAR entitlement request to allow the transfer of 455,161 square feet of floor area to the project site. 2 separate appeals of the City Planning Commission's actions were filed in a timely manner and included a challenge to both the entitlements and a certification of the EIR by LA Fake Property Owner LLC and Unite Here Local 11. Both appeals have been withdrawn prior to this hearing. Nonetheless, as discussed in planning staff report, upon careful consideration of the appellant's points relative to the CPC case, planning staff has determined that the appellants have failed to establish or present new substantial evidence that the city erred or abused its discretion to find that the project was assessed in the previously certified EIR and to approve the associated entitlements. Based on this discussion and analysis presented in the appeal report, planning staff respectfully recommends that the appeals be denied and recommends approval for the remaining TFAR entitlement request to allow the transfer of 455,000 square feet of floor area to the project site, and that council shall consider the certification of the Olympic Tower project environmental impact report ENV-2015-4558-EIR, the erratum dated May 2021, with and adoption of a modified mitigation monitoring program dated May 2021, and related modified California Environmental Quality Act findings dated May 2021, related to the actions in both Council File 20-0813 and Council File 20-0813-S1. Thank you. Planning staff is available for any questions.
Thank you so much. In as much as the appeals have been withdrawn, we will not hear from appellants, but we will provide an opportunity for the applicant to speak at this time.
Ed Casey, can you please press *6 to unmute yourself?
Good afternoon, this is Ed Casey. Can you hear me?
Good afternoon, caller. We can hear you.
Thank you. And thank you, honorable council members. This is Ed Casey. I'm counsel for the applicant for the Olympic Tower project. And after 6 years in the entire process, I can't tell you how excited I am to present this exciting and transformative project to you. Let me start off, though, by thanking planning staff for all of their hard work over the years on the project in developing very detailed environmental measures, as well as a comprehensive set of conditions of approval. It's been a long process, but the process has played out for the better in terms of fashioning the project, both for my client as well as for the community. And that process recently resulted in 2 settlements with each of the appellants. A settlement with the Hotel Figueroa, which will ensure very detailed measures that the construction of the Olympic Tower project will not affect whatsoever the Hotel Figueroa building. We also reached a settlement with Unite Here, and as their counsel told you earlier today, it provides for a number of measures that will be for the benefit of the environment, including more transit passes, use of sustainable paper products, as well as our agreement to eliminate 1 level of subterranean parking, which we do make a formal request that in conditioning the approval of the TFAR request, that include a condition that 1 level of subterranean parking be removed. So with that, I urge the council to recommend approval to the council for the TFAR request and certification ER. Our entire project team is here if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Casey. Now I'll ask if we can hear from Council District 14 on this item.
Good afternoon, council members. Emma Howard, Planning Director, Council District 14. Councilmember De Leon here today to speak on item number 12, the project known as Olympic Towers. I will keep it brief today and say our office is very pleased to see that both Appeal 1 and Appeal 2 have been withdrawn as of this morning. We appreciate the applicant was working with both sets of appellants to address these specific concerns raised, and the council member is strongly supportive of applicants that work to overcome the adversarial nature of the appeal process and come up with collaborative solutions. Mr. Casey has been very helpful in doing so on this project. Due to this collaboration, a historic cultural monument is proactively being fortified against construction impacts, and changes have been made to reduce the project's environmental footprint. We wanted to also emphasize the applicant's request for reducing the parking footprint for this project and make sure that change is formally adopted into the instructions. I believe that the clerk has an outline for how to do that today. As a note, our office is always ready and willing to assist applicants in DTLA who wish to reduce parking to better align with the goals of the forthcoming DTLA 2040 community plan. Thank you, council members.
Thank you so much, Ms. Howard. So if there are no questions or comments from members of the committee on this item, I'll move that we deny the 2 appeals with specific instructions to be read by Mr. Mejia. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Lee.
Second.
Mr. Mejia, if you can read the specific instructions, including the recommendations, the changes put forward by the applicant and recommendations put forward by Council District 14.
Yes, Mr. Chair and committee members. The recommended action is to deny the 2 appeals. 1 appeal filed by Unite Here at Local 11, 2nd appeal filed by LA FIG LLC, and thereby sustain the determination of the Planning Commission to certify the Olympic Tower EIR and approving all the land use entitlements enumerated on today's council agenda for the mixed-use project, and also to approve the transfer of floor area rights, TFAR, as described on today's committee agenda, and modify condition Q3 relative to public benefits payment to deposit the TFAR public benefit payment into the Council District 14 Public Benefits Trust Fund, as noted under Administrative Code Section 5.550, and in addition to modify condition 6 to add under condition 6 a subsection E, which will denote that the applicant shall remove at least one level of parking from Exhibit A dated August 22nd, 2019, as stated by the applicant and by Ms. Emma Howard at today's meeting, and approve the EIR, the erratum, the modified mitigation program, and CEQA findings as denoted by Mr. Sergio Ibarra, the city planner, at today's meeting. I will call the roll, Mr. Chair. Councilmember Harris Dawson as chairman.
Yes.
Councilmember Gilbert Cedillo.
Yes.
Councilmember Bob Blumenfield.
Blumenfield.
Councilmember Mark Ridley Thomas.
Aye.
Councilmember John Lee.
Aye.
That's 5 members and unanimous, Mr. Chair.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mejia. That takes us to item number 13.
Item 13, this is a Sustainable Communities Project Assessment, otherwise known as a SKIA, and the CEQA findings. This is for the construction of a mixed-use building with 401 residential units. 61 of those units will be reserved for very low-income households, 20 units for very low-income or low-income households situated in CD10.
All right. We will hear from Department of City Planning on this item.
Yes, good afternoon, council members. I am Alan Como with the Department of City Planning. Before you is the Sustainable Communities Environmental Assessment, commonly referred to as a SKIA, for the proposed mixed-use development, as just stated, combining 401 residential units with 61 units reserved for very low income households, 20 units reserved for low or very low income households. It will contain approximately 40,000 square feet of commercial and community space on 2 sites, which is located at 3606 West Exposition Boulevard and 3630 South Crenshaw Boulevard in the West Adams Baldwin Hills Lamert Community Plan. The applicant is seeking City Planning Commission and advisory agency action to enable the proposed development. However, the only portion of this project that is before the committee today is the environmental document. The SKIA must be adopted by council prior to action on the project's primary entitlements. The project has been assessed and has been determined to meet the necessary criteria to qualify for a SKIA, and staff has included a response to comments raised regarding the environmental document in the report submitted to the council file. Overall, the project would result in less than significant impacts with the incorporation of mitigation measures. An erratum was prepared, which makes minor modifications and technical corrections to the SKIA regarding the mislabeling of an appendix, the addition of a reference to the 2020-2045 SCAG RTP SCS, and clarification language regarding levels of significance. The information in this erratum does not disclose any new significant environmental effects that would arise from the project, nor does it identify any new or different mitigation measures that are required to reduce the project's environmental impacts to a level of insignificance, and as such does not require recirculation pursuant to CEQA guidelines. Additionally, staff received a letter this afternoon from the Office of Mitchell Sy on behalf of the Southwest Regional Council of Carpenters. This letter repeats many of the same arguments from previous letters that are a part of the file and which have been responded to in the staff report. The letter addresses the SKIA process, that expert testimony has not been responded to, that the SKIA is an inappropriate environmental clearance, and that the planning entitlements are inappropriate. The city has followed the SKIA process pursuant to CEQA section 21155. And as stated previously, the planning related entitlements are not before this body for consideration, just the SKIA document. The entitlements will be decided upon by the appropriate decision-making body. So staff recommends that the Planning and Land Use Committee find that the project complies with the requirements of SKIA, and further recommends for council to take action to adopt the SKIA, the mitigation monitoring program, and the errata. This concludes my presentation, and I am available for questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Como. We'll begin our deliberation of this item by hearing from Councilmember Ridley Thomas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank staff for their presentation and the diligence of their work. Colleagues, this is a project that I've been working on for some time. My previous role as a member of the Board of Supervisors, I initiated joint development of a county and metro property at a significant transit-oriented location along the Crenshaw corridor, intersecting the Crenshaw LAX line and the Expo line. This project that proposes 81 housing units that will be affordable to low and very low income households, as you heard referenced, and the developer continues to deepen that affordability. We're pleased about that. I'm excited to see that this project would move forward through the entitlement process, and appreciate the department's efforts to ensure that the project doesn't just bring high quality housing, community amenities and jobs, but also is constructed with the highest regard for design excellence. So on that basis, Mr. Chairman and colleagues, that I would move to approve this item and ask for your aye vote.
I'll second your motion, Mr. Ridley Thomas, and acknowledge the digital hand of Mr. Gilbert Cedillo.
That was for a previous item. Mr. Mark Ridley Thomas will enjoy safe passage in this instance.
Excellent. Mr. Mejia, if you could read the specific instructions into the record and call the roll. Thank you.
Yes. Approve the environmental clearance, the Sustainable Communities Environmental Assessment, SKIA, the erratum dated September 2021, the Mitigation Monitoring Program, and the CEQA findings contained in the Planning Department report dated September 20th, 2001, and the SKIA ENV 2019-5426, inasmuch as the proposed project is a transit priority project and thereby exempt from CEQA pursuant to Public Resources Code section 21155B, and find that the project as a sustainable communities project meets all the requirements of subdivision A, more than 50% residential, subsection B, within 1/2 mile of a major traffic stop transit corridor, and C, affordable housing, as noted in Public Resources Code section 21555.1, and as stated for the record at today's presentation by City Planner, Mr. Cuomo. I will call the roll. Councilmember Marquise Harris Dawson is chairman.
Yes.
Councilmember Gilbert Cedillo.
Yes.
Councilmember Bob Blumenfield.
Aye.
Councilmember Mark Ridley Thomas.
Aye.
Councilmember John Lee.
Aye.
That's 5 members and unanimous, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. That takes us to our 14th and final item, Mr. Mejia.
Yes, item 14. This is a Sustainable Communities Environmental Assessment, a SKIA, and a general plan amendment, a vesting zone change, high district change ordinance, and an appeal that has been filed by the project applicant, TF Chateau Limited Partnership, relative to a mixed-use project. The appellant is appealing the denial of the conditional use for 90 units, 90 transit-oriented residential structure units as proposed.
Thank you. We'll hear from Planning Department.
Good afternoon, committee member. Neprin with the Department of City Planning. The case that you have before you is the approval of a general plan amendment, a zone change, a height district change, and a main conditional, a site plan review to allow for the construction of a new mixed-use development with 367 units, including 42 units set aside as affordable housing, and a total of 36,400 square feet office and restaurant floor area, which includes the conversion of an existing approximately 20,000 square foot church building into restaurant uses. Additionally, what you have before you is an appeal by the applicant of the City Planning Commission's denial of a conditional use to allow 90 transit occupancy residential structure or TORS units. The appeal points raised are CPC's denial was not predicated on the TORS unit 30-day maximum tenancy. CPC acted arbitrarily and capricious with regard to the proposed co-living units. The action was a violation of California tenant law. The conditional use findings are not supported by substantial evidence. Staff has submitted to the council file a written response to these appeal points and recommend that you deny the appeal and sustain the City Planning Commission's decision. Lastly, should the committee support the appeal, staff would recommend that the conditions relative to the TORS units included in the original staff report to CPC be incorporated. If that is your action, I can read those into the record as those conditions needed. With that, staff is here for any questions you may have.
All right, thank you so much. Now we'll hear from the appellant on this item, unless our fearless leader of the planning department wants to say something, as I see him lean forward. All right, so we'll hear from the appellant on this item.
Ryan Lederman, can you please press *6 to unmute yourself?
Good afternoon. This is Ryan Lederman, honorable council members from the law firm of Holland and Knight, representing TS Chateau Limited Partnership. I'd like to thank staff, Heather and Oliver, and the entire city staff for getting us to the finish line, as well as our labor friends who are in attendance today. This is a great project. It preserves the existing church building, which now houses a basketball court, and it would be converted to a really cool restaurant with indoor and outdoor seating. The project includes 367 dwelling units, including 42 income-restricted dwelling units within an architecturally prominent tower anchored by a large public plaza at the northeast corner of 6th and Chateau. The project is transit-oriented with low VMT, less than a block away from the red and purple lines at the Vermont station. The project will provide much-needed housing, including covenanted affordable housing with no financial subsidies. We hope that the council makes a recommendation, or the committee makes a recommendation to support the project and grant the appeal. I just want to address one issue in the tours, and this is a transient occupancy residential structure use. You haven't seen very many of these. It's a flexible and innovative housing typology recently endorsed by changes to the LAMC to allow this very type of use. And the current housing element supports this with a number of policies that we've addressed in our appeal materials. We recommend a reduction from the 90 TORS units to only 54 to allow short-term optionality and long-term optionality that will benefit and sustain the co-living component, a more affordable housing type. TORS supports a type of innovative housing that will alleviate housing demand. It caters to mobile professionals who face challenges in finding rentals suitable to their needs and budget. And to address the concerns of Unite Here 11, it is not a hotel. And to this end, we volunteered additional conditions of approval to require at least a 7-day minimum stay for those 54 co-living TORS units. There's clear documentation that the TORS units have lower rents compared to studios or one-bedroom units, and we remain committed to TORS, but more importantly, we would like to come out of here with your support for project approval, and if you would grant the appeal to allow the TORS with the additional conditions of approval that we've submitted into the record, we would be greatly appreciative. I have the full project team out here in cyberspace. And if you, we remain available to answer any questions. And the prior conditions of approval, those were from the staff, the CPC staff report as modified as we proposed in our appeal materials and our subsequent correspondence. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll now have comments from Council District 13.
Good afternoon. My name is Craig Bullock, and I'm with Councilmember Mitch O'Farrell's office. I'm here today to convey the council member's support for this project as it was approved by the City Planning Commission. This project brings much needed housing, including affordable housing, in close proximity to multiple bus lines and the subway. In addition, the project will include a significant amount of ground floor open space for pedestrian activity. It has notable architecture, including the restoration of the church structure, which was identified on Survey LA. Our support for the project, however, does not include support for the appeal this afternoon. We believe that should be denied, but otherwise we are very supportive of this very well-designed, well-thought-out project. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any questions or comments from members of the committee? Seeing none, I'll make a motion that we deny the appeal with specific instructions to be read by Mr. Mejia once there's a second.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Blumenfield. I thank you so much. Mr. Mejia, if you could read the instructions into the record and call the roll.
Yes. To deny the appeal filed by the project applicant, TF Chateau Limited Partnership, and thereby sustain the determination of the Planning Commission to deny the conditional use to permit a transit occupancy residential structure containing 90 units within the proposed mixed-use project and approve the environmental clearance, the Sustainable Communities Environmental Assessment, SKIA, addendum to the SKIA, and related CEQA findings, the vesting zone and height district change ordinance, the general plan amendment, the conditional use for the sale of alcoholic beverages for on-site consumption at the restaurants for the mixed-use project containing 367 residential dwelling units, including 11% of those units as affordable units, for a total of 42 affordable dwelling units for the property located at 514 through 550 South Chateau Place and 3119 West 6th Street, situated in CD 13, and as recommended by the planner, Mr. Craig Bullock, representing the Council District Office, CD 13. I will call the roll, Mr. Chairman. Councilmember Marquise Harris Dawson as chair.
Yes.
Councilmember Gilbert Cedillo.
Yes.
Councilmember Bob Blumenfield.
Aye.
Councilmember Mark Ridley Thomas.
Aye.
Councilmember John Lee.
Aye.
That's 5 members and unanimous, Mr. Chair.
Thank you so much. I believe that concludes our business today. I would like to give a special shout out to Mr. Blumenfield for getting us started this afternoon, and as well as his San Fernando Valley neighbor, Mr. Lee, who in a true Valley resident can do anything from an automobile. So thank you for being with us today. And I thank all the members, and we are adjourned. Thank you.